Hello. Dear. There's 2 weeks so far. 2 weeks on the trot. That that something's gone wrong with this live stream, and it's peeing me off a little bit, if I'm honest. Dear. Right, I'm definitely with you now. At least this time I've only been talking to myself for 5 minutes, not half an hour. Welcome, hi regular guys, and welcome any new people to the live stream. I'm Eric the Plasterer. I've been a plasterer for 36 years and operate and live in South London. Here to answer any questions that I can that are plastering related, whether it's for customers that want to ask how long a job should take, how much plasterers should cost, how much they charge a day, novices or DIYers that just want to ask questions in general about plastering, or tradesmen giving me their views on whether they think tools are great, tools are rubbish, and yeah, just generally something to hang out and have a chat. Yeah, and have a drink. I mean, I'm just on the coke because I'm working technically, but on a lovely sunny evening like this, why not have a nice beer, something like that? And right, anyway, you can ring into the studio, or you can talk to me on the text just by typing. That should all work. Let me try putting something in here just to make sure. Hello. Oh, hey. Hi, Liam. How are you, mate? Nice to see you. Yeah, I just last week and this week, there's something wrong with I start the live stream, I think, yep, it's all great. I go to check it on my phone, and I'm not there. But hey ho, but I'm here now. That's how I was messed out. Hi, Jordan, mate. Dear. Are we sitting indoors and chilling out? Or are we sitting out in the garden having a beer? Which obviously I can't do when I'm doing this. But hey, yeah, I'm still not sure whether to start this an hour later in a couple of weeks' time, because the days were getting, let's face it, even longer, and I just find it difficult in this bright sunshine to get in the right mode for doing this. Now, putting the kids to bed, yeah, never mind, Liam. Never mind, mate. Yeah, I'll see what happens this evening. See what happens if anyone comes in with any questions, old or new. If you've got any comments on my oldie weldy video that's up there. No, up there, yeah. At the top. What you thought of that? I thought it'd make a change. Make a change, but I am back on the more teaching type videos at the moment, but I just fancy doing something a bit different. Yeah. Harry, hi Harry. Hi Martin. Nice to see you guys. Indoors having a cold one, Jordan. Waiting for takeaway. Yeah, I'm not getting a takeaway tonight. Mrs. has cooked a lovely dinner. I was working, or am working, the next few days, including today, over in Earlsfield. That's kind of Wandsworth way, and I'm in more Sutton, Croydon area. And I left nice and early. It told me, my sat-nav told me it would take me an hour to get there this morning, which I couldn't believe, considering I left at 7 o'clock. And then I got most of the way to the job, which was fine. And then the last, what should have taken 2 minutes to get to the job, according to my sat-nav, I was just stuck in this traffic for 25 minutes, nearly half an hour. So basically I didn't get to the job till 8:30. And when I got to the end of this queue of traffic, I was expecting there to be roadworks there, but it wasn't roadworks. It was just flipping, I don't know, these two sets of lights that they've got near Earlsfield Station, which are obviously a pain, so I'm going to have to leave even earlier tomorrow to get there. And then coming back tonight, I had to get more gear because the job turned out to be one of those where I've underestimated already 36 years, and I've underestimated the amount of plaster I need, because I've got 2 big rooms, but it's an old Victorian house. And I forget when the walls are that extra foot or 2 higher, how much more gear you've got to slap on to get it sorted out. Martin, I don't know what your is that something you've done just really recently? Because I haven't checked it. Cam bought his missus a heated massage chair thing last week, and that did come up because I said to check, even though he just came on and on the site clicked on a link for whatever, for a trowel or something, and then went off and bought this massage chair, which did come up. I don't know if they do some kind of twiddly diddly at Amazon that if you are buying tools, that the percentage they give you a cut of is a little bit more, and then if it's not something in the link, whether they've sussed that out now and they're giving you a little bit less of a kickback. But I will check it tonight, mate, and let you know. Plastic sheeting. Oh, 2 weeks ago. I'll double check, mate. It might have just passed me by, because when I go to look at it, it doesn't tell you straight away what was purchased, and you've got to dig through these menus to find out what it is that someone's bought. You don't know who's bought it, but unless they specifically told you they're buying a certain thing, it just tells you the thing that's been bought. So I'll check back on that, Jordan. Cheers, mate. But there's no reason why I shouldn't have done it. If you click on any of my links first and then go and buy your stuff, it should come through. See, what was I waffling on about before that? Oh, the job I'm on at the minute, and so I had to get more plaster. And for some reason, as I was coming back through a part of Wimbledon, I thought, great, there's a B&Q down there. There was a massive queue of traffic. Satnav said there was going to be 25 minutes just sitting in it, and it wasn't moving. So I did a U-E and ended up taking a different route home, and then going to my more local B&Q. But what a pain in the batami that was, mate. Yeah. So just in time to have a quick shower and get ready for Ask the Plasterer. See what I do for you guys, eh? And anyone else who's watching that's not been on here before. Yeah, any questions? Anyone else that's not been on Ask the Plasterer before? If you've got any questions at all, plastering related, as a customer or as a tradesman, or as a DIYer, or as a complete novice that's learning plastering, type a message and I'll see it and I'll reply to you, or you can ring the number and actually talk to me. Most people are either too shy or don't want to, because obviously if you're using the same phone that you're using to type on, you have to come out of the thing to ring me, don't you? So I understand. I understand. Right. Liam, ever done Tyrolean? Doing some this week. Any tips? I haven't done Tyrolean for years, but I didn't even know you could still do it or get it. You're talking about the different coloured cements you can get that come out of a Tyrolean gun, presumably, where you basically pour it in there. You turn the handle, it's got little metal spikes in there that flick against the bar and flicks little bits of Tyrolean out at the end of the gun. And the more you go over a wall with it, the bigger the little blobs, because it's basically a build-up of blobs onto your surface to textured render. Yeah, Liam, is that using a Tyrolean gun to put that gear on? Because that's the only way I've ever put Tyrolean on before. As I said, I didn't even know you could still buy it. I haven't done Tyrolean work for years. I've still got a Tyrolean gun in the garage. Jamie, hi Jamie. Yep, all good this end, mate. Having a problem getting hold of. Getting getting all the corner beads at the Mo, none in B&Q or Wicks. Now I picked some up over the weekend, and I had to grab one more today on my way home. I'm struggling to get the thin coat stop beads, because at the minute I'm doing 2 rooms and they've got bay windows with the angled edges, but they're not completely they're not 45 degree, so I'm needing to get stop beads for those. And I could have sworn blind you could buy 3 metre ones, but when I am finding any stop beads, they only seem to be 8 foot ones, so I'm having to put a piece in at the bottom, which if you ain't got to do that, great, but when you have, it's a bit of a pain. But yeah, I haven't had too much trouble getting hold of beads. The stock in some places has been a bit iffy, or as is often in those places, you go in there and there's whole packs of them and they've been bent by either the guys that have put them on the shelves or just other guys that have just been reckless when they're trying to get some beads out the packet for themselves. Jordan Hill, top coated the render as normal. Sorry, Jordan. Yeah, I'm learning here, mate, as well. I think the render is normal. I mix the Tyrolean up as normal, but I do a little batch in the bucket, bit wetter, and paint it on first before hitting it with the gun. Okay, cool. Yeah, what Jordan said, mate, because I haven't done any Tyrolean for ages, but there's a nice, easy way to finish the surface off, because one, you can buy, or you could when I was doing it, different coloured Tyroleans. So if it's this, so basically it's a white one. Once you've done your first coat on the wall, when you're using the Tyrolean gun for that second coat, once you've got your textured blobs on the wall, the job's done. You know, or that's how I used to leave it anyway. Yeah, it wasn't like as difficult as pebble dashing or doing a rubbed up smooth render. But yeah. I've got. If anyone wants a Tyrolean gun, I think I might even have 2. I haven't used it in donkey's years, so let me know. Should I put it up as a prize? Yeah, mind you, I don't know how much the postage would be. They're quite big, aren't they? But hey, you'll see. You've had issues as well with picking up skimming beads, Jordan, or unless I'm about to find out there's going to be a shortage. I'm just finishing off what they've got in my local B&Q. Anything coat stop beads? Oh, okay, mate. Yeah, I've been struggling. I've been struggling a little while back to get the 8 foots in the tube of the corner beads, and then they had the 3 metre ones, which are great luck for the job I'm on at the minute. But they didn't have any of the small ones. But they seem to be back in at the minute now, so I don't know. It's a bit like this thing that everyone's sort of saying, oh, the multi-finish seems to be having issues in the way it's going off and stuff that's happening with it and blistering and all sorts of weird things. But I haven't had any issues with my multi-finish at all. To me, it's been the same as it always is. Art to put on and art to finish. I know that's just plastering in general, isn't it? Yeah. But hey. Paint it on, never heard of that. What's that, Liam? You never heard of the Tyrolean gun, or you never heard of painting it on? Yeah, no, I don't think I ever painted the gear on. I'd do some kind of base coat first. Again, as I say, it's been so many years, I can't remember whether that was just a scratch coat I put on, and then did Tyrolean over the top of that. But yeah, hey ho. So anyone else that's watching that's got any questions you want to ask, plastering related, feel free to just type them in, and either me or one of the other guys will be happy to answer them. Which is something they can also do in the. I still got it on here. Hang on, bear with me while we move over to a different screen. There you go. Yeah, the Ask the Plasterer community server There's about 21 of us on there. It's gone a bit quiet the last couple of days. But I'm not holding out great hopes for it at the minute. But if more guys log on there, then who knows? But yeah, there's links in the description for it. So yeah, come and join us on there. Oh, right. Oh, cheers, Jamie. Yeah, the old Plasterer video. Yeah, well, I was hoping it'd be a bit humorous and just I don't know what gave me the idea to do it. I think I was watching some old footage on the YouTube about something, but something serious, and I thought, yeah, I remember back to when I did just used to use Hessian scrim on joints and stuff. I mean, thankfully, yeah, I'm not that old. Plasterboard was already invented. It wasn't new when I started plastering, but yeah, I thought, hey, why not? I don't know. I think it'd probably be a one-off. I might do some exercise videos in a similar fashion. It's a big old baggy shorts and a nice white string vest. We'll still wear my hat and pipe, of course. And yeah, but it's getting off the subject of plastering. Dear John. You paint a coat. Sorry, yeah. If you paint a coat of the Tyrolean on with a paintbrush before using the gun, it keeps the colour uniform and no dark spots from the render. Oh, okay. So you've rendered it, then you're painting on a coat of the Tyrolean, and then you're putting it on with a gun, Jordan. Yeah, the last video I did was quality. Cheers, mate. Appreciate it. It's a 3-minute video, but by the time I had to get that cap and get that pipe and other stuff, and my tin bucket, and I'd sorted out enough room to film it. I think I must have spent 3 days and editing it, making that video. 3 days, that's a day a minute, or a minute a day. Still, I think all the time and money they spend on adverts, and adverts are only 30 seconds long, aren't they? And they spend bloody millions on them on the old telly. But not using proper Tyrolean, just sand and cement. Run here. Yeah. Hi, Diggity, mate. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome. Welcome. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Yeah, no, I think the last time I used a Tyrolean gun, but not with Tyrolean, I was working in Pentonville Prison. We were doing a refurb, and I needed to get basically a rough cast on the wall in the corridors, and the guys were chucking it on with a yeah, I think just with a some kind of shovel. And I thought, oh, Tyrolean gun, fantastic for that. I'll get a nice stipple effect on there. So once that goes off, like as a pricking up coat, be able to get your next coat on there. So of course you've got to make sure you mix the sand and cement up at the right consistency, and it's not too dry, or it won't flick out of the gun. And it does tend to get a bit more stuck in the Tyrolean gun than Tyrolean does. But yeah, it's all good stuff. It's all good stuff. Yeah, I've seen a few of you guys on Trail Talk now as well. That's on Stuart's Facebook group. It's all good stuff. And good for a crack. And Swayze. Right, hello, Swayze. Nice to see you, mate. Hope things are all right now. You're back on the trail, mate. Back on the tools. Because yeah, over in Ireland, I mean over in London or in England, we've been able to go out and do the old plastering and stuff. But over in Ireland, the lockdown was kind of like, no, you're not allowed to go out and do any plastering, and that's only just opened up again now for plasterers over there. God bless them. So a lot of them have been a year without doing any flipping work at all. So surviving like that. Do you ever do any stippling on ceilings, Mark? What the only stippling on ceilings I can think of is the old Artex. And I think I did a bit of Artex donkeys years ago, but most people don't really want it anymore. Yes, mate, you can get, I think, a fairly decent set of stilts for 150, 200 quid. If you look again, if you go to the link that I've got there, which are for the stilts that I use, they're Dura stilts. They're from the USA, but they are 400 quid, or thereabouts. Sometimes a little bit more, but they are adjustable. The ones I've got, you can go up to a 12-foot ceiling with them, but I won't do a 12-foot ceiling with them on. I just use them for standard. But they're good quality. They've lasted me for, God, there's the only pair of stilts I've ever had. I bought some new straps for them, but other than that, but they're a lot of money. You can get cheaper models, which are probably okay. But I can't recommend a cheaper model because I've never used a cheaper model. But a lot of guys don't want to splash out £300 or £400 on their stilts. Same with the mixer. I mean the mega mixer that I've got. That's like, again, you're paying £350, £450 for that mixer. Again, this is my third one. The other one was still working on and off, but it was knackered, and I had driven over it once years ago, and the fact it still works kind of amazed me. All the fancy little bits around the handles all popped off. I did a job, and I was putting my tools back in my van, and I'd forgotten I'd rested my whisk down by the front wheel of the motor, and I packed everything else away in the back, jumped in the car, and as I drove forward, it kind of plonked and bonked. I thought, what the hell was that? And I got out and realised I'd more or less driven over my whisk. But that was years ago, and it still worked. So that one went into retirement, and I bought a new one. But actually, I'm so used to using, it's a corded one, it's 240 volts, but they're about £400. But that'll probably see me out. Yeah, 12-foot, mate. They are scary. I've had them up higher than, because they are adjustable for slightly higher ceilings, and they're good for that if you've got something that's a bit higher than normal. Because if you start having to stretch your arm in the air, you're going to start getting bad pins and needles and shoulder ache and neck ache and all sorts of stuff. It's Silverdale. You've purchased the walk tall boots. Looking forward to trying them. Falling over this week. I'd see them on Stu Roberts' YouTube. Yeah, he's got them on the YouTube. He gave away a set on the Trout Talk Facebook group as well. I've looked, because he's quite tall, and 6'3", I think, or something like that, Stuart, and he struggles with stilts. So I'm sure you can buy quite short stilts, but then if you get slightly higher ceiling, you might be able to reach it off of them, because the smaller stilts you can buy, they're not adjustable. They don't get any bigger. Whereas mine are doing 8-foot ceiling, like not adjusted, just on their lowest setting. But obviously, if you get a really short ceiling, they're no good. And he uses the boots, but I think I might struggle with them, and they just look to me like you could, if your foot did go sideways, you'd sprain your ankle or something. But good luck with those. Hopefully, if they're well strapped on, they should be fine. Jordan, need some help. I've got the 600 speed skim, and I'm wanting to get a larger one for bigger walls. I'm torn between 900 and 1200. I've using in most of my jobs, mate. My plastic one and my metal one are 900, because they're that kind of, it's the kind of in between good size to have. A couple of times I could have thought, I thought to myself, and I probably will get the 1200 when you're doing a big ceiling or a big wall, to be able to as you say, kind of spread out a larger area quicker, and probably the smaller one as well. But 900 is the kind of, like, if you're only going to buy one, let's say you've already got the 600, but I found the 600 is a bit too small for most of the work you want to do. It's up to you, mate. But because I mostly use the 900, and it's just that kind of just right size for most walls and ceilings. But if you want to get 1200, mate, go for it. Let me know how you get on with it before I go out and buy one. But I just don't think I'll probably use it that often unless I've got a nice big spread you can go across with without any light wires getting in the way, or plug sockets and stuff when you're doing a wall. As I say, with most walls, 600 is just a little bit too small, as you've obviously discovered while you've been using it. Yeah, Stuart's review of the walk tall boots was good. I say he's very tall, and I mean if you're well over 6 foot, then they might be okay. But I've found, looking at the height of them, I'm 5'11". I used to be 6 foot, but as I'm getting older, I'm shrinking. So I've shrunk an inch, and I think if I with the work tall boots, I think I'll be stretching my arm up too high. I'll probably be able to reach the ceiling, but you need to be about that height above your head to have the perfect angle for your arm, so you don't get more strain than you should do in your elbow, like that tennis elbow and stuff a few of the guys have had. Or if you've got it too stretched out, too high, that you're going to get pins and needles or more of an ache in your arm and shoulder if you're stretching it up too far. But if the boots are good and they're the right height for you to hit the ceiling, then nice one. 1206. Whoop. Oh, Liam, yeah, if you've got the 1200 and 600, mate, and they're both good, then brilliant. But ideally you'd have the 600, the 900, and the 1200, and if you can get those with the metal blades as well, as opposed to just the plastic ones. But it's a lot of money once you start doubling up on speed skims. You do need to shop around, even on Amazon, when it comes to speed skims. One day they're like 10-20 quid more than they are the day after or the day before, but I suppose that's how Amazon operate, isn't it? I'm going to be splashing out on a new camera soon as well, because this 4K one that I use for my videos is pretty good, but I notice a lot of the guys now are using GoPro 9s, which gives a really nice sharp 5K as well, I think, video, and they've got more of a wide-angled lens, so a lot of the jobs, like the video underneath where I'm talking there, that's with the camera set back as far as I can get it, and that's as much of the wall as I can get in. Whereas if with these GoPros, you can get basically the best part of the whole room in shot, and it's nice and sharp. So look forward to that at some point soon when the wife lets me spend the money. I'll be getting one of those to do the filming. Jamie, make sure I'm not missing any questions. Hang on, guys. H. Silverdale, I've cut my old damaged ones for reveals as well, which is handy. If you can cut something down for doing reveals, that's pretty good. Luckily, most of the reveals I've had to do of the 900s fitted inside the windows, unless you're doing a really small window. I've just purchased both sides. Jordan, if you've got enough money to buy both sizes, mate. And like anything else, if you can afford all the tools, then go for it, mate. Because it's more gear to drag to a job. But the amount of stuff we have to shift anyway, the amount of jobs I've been to, I don't think the customer appreciates the amount of gear, the gear and the tools that you need to like cart up into their house to do it, when they're kind of like, oh yeah, there's a car park over the road you can park in, because we don't have parking outside. And you think, it's one of those jobs I generally avoid if I can't park in or near a job, or preferably on their drive. Then I'm never that keen. When would you use the metal blade on the speed skin? Jamie, the metal blade, don't ever use it early or on your first coat, because it will just draw the metal blade draws water to the surface, and the plastic blade, it kind of it opens up the surface. You can more or less put your first coat on a whole wall, and then go on it straight away, or go across it with a plastic speed skim. And that's fine, and it does help it go off a little bit quicker, which I know you don't always want that to happen, but the fact you've got most of it flat then anyway, then it shouldn't really be an issue. If you use a metal one over it, it will blister like there's no tomorrow, where it draws water to the surface. That is why some guys buy, I don't think it's a great idea, well, if you've got a speed skim and don't really need it, is plastic trowel, because it opens up the surface, and allows it to pick up quicker and without blistering or bubbling. Also, if you get your timing right, you can go back over that first coat again with the plastic trowel. This is before putting any water on it, and if it's picked up enough, it will start to flatten out even more, which is quite nice. If you start getting tiger stripes on it, then it's too dry, so don't do that. But the metal one, I only ever use the metal speed skim once I'm putting water onto the surface. Like I've done a couple of coats. I'm at that stage of either splashing water on with a brush or using the spray, and then I'm using the metal speed skim, basically like a big trowel, troweling off. But don't use the metal blade speed skim unless you're at that stage, because it'll cause you grief. So it's plastic all the way for the bulk of your stuff, and use the metal speed skim for troweling up, basically. Let's say you use it any sooner, you'll get blistering issues. Harry, hi Harry. Have you always used speed skim, or have you ever used Rafina spats or any other ones? No, the speed skim was the first thing I'd ever used, and I came late to the speed skim. I've only been using the speed skim for 2 years in my whole career. Prior to that, it was all trowel work, which does, when you're doing it forever, will get to your joints eventually. Though I've been lucky to not have any major issues joint wise. Yeah, cheers, Jamie. No, some of the other spatulas, like the ones with the handles and stuff, that I've seen guys use on different videos, and seem to do a lovely job with those. Again, it's like anything else. If you can have a set of different spatulas other than the speed skims, then great, because it's about being able to get in and around sockets and plugs and right up into the edges and corners, which sometimes is a bit awkward depending on what size speed skim you got. But any kind of spatula or the speed skims, they're a game changer for me. I put on a lot of gear anyway. I say a lot of gear because I work on my own. My biggest set is a 2-bag mix, and I won't go above that. But I can handle a 2-bag mix, which is why I don't ever put a retarder in my plaster, because I wouldn't want to do more than 2 bags, or try to do a running mix and then do another one, because I don't want to be dropping back and trying to trowel up one wall. I just did that today, while I'm kind of putting the skim on another wall. I don't know what point I was making then, because I'm having a senior moment and I've lost the plot. Come back to me in a second. Breathing in too much plaster dust over the years, doesn't have a great effect on you. Let's have a change of scenery. Anyway. I still can't remember what I was saying. Anyway, M. Corns, hi. How much water do you use for a good render mix, and what is the best to use? What is the best render to use? I don't know if we're talking sand and cement or when it comes to rendering, it's getting your mix right with amounts of lime or plasticizer or whatever you put into your sand and cement, my scratch coats, I do a 3-to-1, 3 cement. No, sorry, 1 cement, 3 sand, and also one lime. But I also chuck in a bit of plasticizer, because the creamier you can get the stuff, the better. You don't want it too thin. You don't want it too thick. You want it just right. Yeah, I'm thinking of bringing Goldilocks on as a guest, hopefully at some point, so she can give us a bit more advice on that one. But yes, but I mean, now a lot of renders are these silicone renders, which I have never used up to this point. But I did get a call today from a guy that wants his garage rendered. And although I generally have stopped doing external rendering because the weather's being so unreliable, I might buy some of this new. Well, I called it new. It's probably still been around for years. These silicone renders, and give it a go and see how it turns out. And it needs a better finish than just a rubbed up sand and cement, which can be has been a pain for years. Plastifer. Sorry guys, I'm trying not to miss anyone's questions. Bead reveal for the cut down, steel blade. Okay. Jamie, I've got a Rafina Plasiflex recently. Used it on final trowel and with a bit of water. I think it's improved my finish. Yeah, if your finish seems to come out nicer, like with any of those, any kind of flexible trowels, you only really want to be using at the end when you're troweling up a wall, because if you use them too soon, they're too flexible. Just make sure you never lay on stuff or put or hit a coat or finish too soon with any kind of flexi or semi-flexible trowel. I mean, all my work, everything I lay on with a Marshalltown, but that's only because Marshalltowns have been around forever, and they're kind of industry standard. And yeah, I don't know if Marshalltown do any flexible ones, but for laying on, I use a Marshalltown stainless steel pre-worn. I used to use carbon ones, which were great because they wear in quicker, because they rust, and then you can just sand the rust off, and that helps them to wear in. But stainless steel takes forever. You find that with any of the trowels, really, I think, unless you do an awful lot of rendering. But even then, it takes a lot longer for a stainless steel trowel to wear in. But yeah, bit of water. Yeah, by the time you're using any kind of flexible trowel on a wall, you should be at that stage where it needs water. If you're using it earlier than that, then yeah, it's probably not a great idea. But that's cool, Jamie. Nice one. Yeah, if any of you guys want to put up any pictures or of your work or anything like that, I'd love to see it. Any place that's you're available to do that at the minute is on my the community site, the Ask the Plasterer Discord server, and links to that are in the descriptions of all the videos. So get on there, join us on there, post some pictures. There's a section on there about tools and just for plastering chat in general. We can chat anytime, 24 hours a day on there. Nick the Greek Cypriot. Oh, Nick the Greek Cypriot. Nice to see you, mate. Cheers, mate. I appreciate that. I'll do my best. I'll do my best. I'm overboarding a lava and plaster ceiling tomorrow. Any advice on the best way to do it? Don't suppose you can pop to Wallington tomorrow. If I wasn't working, mate, I would, because it's just up the road. But are you, when I'm overboarding, if it's a lava, if it is an old lava and plaster ceiling, overboarding lava and plaster ceiling tomorrow. Yeah, go and have a look at my which video is it? The video that I've got that's called You've Got Time on Your Hands, Watch and Learn, Relax, Watch and Learn. That video is me doing overboarding a lava and plaster ceiling. Shows you the technique I use for knocking out the holes to see find the ends of the original joists that are up above that ceiling, assuming you're going over the old lard and plaster ceiling and it's not been pulled down, just leaving the lavs. And using a chalk line so you can find where the centres of the joists are above. And then you want a couple of props as well to help to prop up the balls, but they're all in that video. Watch that video, mate, if you haven't already, and that'll show you everything you need to see regards overboarding an old lard and plaster ceiling. I hope that helps. Nick the Greek Cypriot, my old mate. Any advice on the best? Oh yeah, okay. Don't suppose you can. Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, as I said, Matt, I would pop over if I would, but I'm over in. I'm working over in Earlsfield at the minute, which is an absolute pain to get to traffic wise. Especially now everyone's kind of going back to work. No problem, Harry. No problem at all. We've been plumbing for a few years and want to make the change to plastering. Just trying to find a company or bloke near me to go with soon. Hi, Zoltar. Nice to see you, mate. Yeah, Harry. I mean, the plumbing's quite a good trade. The plumbers I know, they've done really well for themselves over the years. But it can be a bit of a mucky old job sometimes. But yeah, plastering's it's a good old trade. You're never too old to change your career, says me. So, right, Jamie. Usually, I have a job in a couple of weeks overboarding onto plaster wall. Poor condition. What's the best to use plasterboard adhesive like dot and dab or foam? I've only used the foam a couple of times, and that was to re-stick a guy's board that had come away at some point from a wall, and I cut a hole in it, used the foam, and then sprayed it into the hole, around the hole, and then I pushed the wall back and fixed it into position until the stuff went off. The foam is good. The adhesive is good if it's done properly, and the wall you're sticking it to is fairly well sealed. Like you said, though, if the wall's in a bit of a mess, well, as long as it's sound. If it's a crumbly old mess, then dotting and dabbing, you just got to be careful what you're sticking it to isn't going to give way at any point, Jamie. At the end of the day, I mean, mostly when dotting and dabbing's done, it's done over old like block work or brick work. I mean, all the work I used to do on sites when I was working on sites for building companies before I went fully domestic, which has been for like donkey's years now. We floated and set. I mean, block work, brick work. It was all either used browning or bonding, and just to chuck it on a couple of screeds and then float the thing off with large rules, left, right, up, down, a bit like speed skims, but a big metal feather edges. And then when that went off, or started to go off, we'd rub it up. Me and most of the guys, we would put with the gear, we'd put it on, rub it up, so it's kind of by lunchtime, have some lunch, and then set it all in the afternoon, and it used to come out lovely. But most jobs now, I see guys just don't seem to do that anymore. Everything seems to be dot and dabbed. I saw a guy on a can't remember if it was on YouTube, took pictures of all this massive hallway, which was all bricks, and I thought, wow, that's gonna take him a while. And the next thing I know, there's all plasterboard on it, and I thought, hey, and then I realised he'd dot and dab the whole thing. It is quicker in some instances, but yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I dot and dab, but depending if it. But most jobs I like to float a wall in a good old traditional way. But yeah, the results are yes, mate. Do you do any stretches before a big hit? I have recently, and it really helps. No, you can do, mate, but yeah, you got to be a bit careful. It's a bit like with training and stuff, I used to do quite a lot of running, and only haven't since lockdown really, and since the first lockdown, and used to do a lot of stretching before going on a run, like static stretching, all this kind of malarkey, and stuff with your legs and all that, and then they started saying, oh, it's not good to do that because somehow it tenses up your muscles before you go running. You should be doing like jogging up and down, kind of this kind of stuff, exercises for stretching and warming up that way, not just kind of pulling and stretching stuff. But I think just for doing a hit, mate, of doing a set or whatever, bit of stretching ain't going to do you any harm, is it? And yeah, if you find it helps, mate, and it kind of loosens you up a bit. For me, I'm always in such a rush when I'm plastering that yeah, I ain't got time to stretch. I'm just jumping in there and cracking on, and but yeah, never thought of it actually. But yeah. Oh, excuse me, we'll have a sip of Coca-Cola. It's not a paid promotion. Yeah, so how are we doing? How long have we been going? It's okay, yeah, not too bad. Yeah, this evening again, I started the video off and it wasn't going out live, but I only wasted 5 minutes talking to myself this week rather than the half an hour like I wasted last time on Ask the Plasterer, and before I realised it definitely wasn't going out live. But, I just got to be careful now to double check on my phone that it is going out before I waste too much time. I do wonder when no one turns up for the first 5 minutes, kind of think, oh, hang on a minute, is it going out? Can people, see the live stream? But hopefully I'll sort it out this time. Yeah, what was I going to say? We covered most stuff, haven't we? Oh, hang on, what's this? Which is Nick the Greek Secret. Thanks, mate. Much appreciated. Yep, no worries. I can get in the loft at the very end of the ceiling to see where the studs are, and so I'll use the string line there. I wish I was that close. I'm from Reading. Oh wow, mate! What you're living in Reading and you're doing a job in Wallington? Oh, well, I've got to go where the work is, mate. At the end of the day, but yeah, if you can do that, mate. I mean, I've tried looking at in loft spaces before to see where the joists are running, but it's finding from the underside. It's finding the dead centre of that joist. I mean, you don't have to smash a great big hole in it. You can knock a screwdriver or something up into the roughly where you've measured and think the joist is from below. And when it pops up into the ceiling, and then there's no joist there. When it hits the joist, obviously it's not going up. And then when it pops up into the ceiling again, that's the other side of the joist, and then you've more or less got where your centre of your joist is through pinging a string line through or a chalk line to see where the centre of all the joists are. Because like with anything else, if you measure the centre of a joist wrong when you're cutting boards, there's nothing worse than putting the board up, go and put a screw in it at the edge, and it just goes up into the air because the board's a bit short from where you thought the centre of the joist is. Nothing worse than that. Generally, either you end up wasting the whole board, or if you think you can get away with putting it up like that, and the chances of it cracking are massive. So yeah, but do it any way you can, mate. But as I say, I always like to knock a few little holes in at either end, or do whack the screwdriver up there to find the centre of the joist, and then take the chalk line through that to sort it out. If any of you other guys watching, I don't know if people are just watching generally out of curiosity or to learn some stuff. If you're looking at this from a plastering novice tradesman perspective, chuck us some questions on screen or give us a call. If you're a potential customer and you want some plastering done, and you want to ask a question, then just type it up and or ring in and ask it, and I'll do my best to answer it, or any of the other guys that can answer it will do the same. Zoltar, mate, do you do any? Oh no, I've already said that. Yeah, that stretches. Yeah, haven't missed anything. I went going up the breed reveal. Oh, yeah. Sorry, mate. I'm away with the fairies. Right, what I'll probably do this evening, if I want to finish too late. What's the time now? 8 o'clock. No, I've been going for an hour. I'll probably go for another 30 minutes or so. If if it stays busy, and yeah, anything else I can waffle about from my years of experience in the trade. Yeah, I've never smoked a pipe. I did used to smoke 40 fags a day before I gave it up. Not enjoying the plumbing anymore. Yeah, no, fair enough, mate. Fair enough. Zoltar, don't know about you, buddy, but I'm swamped with work booked up until August. Blimey. Wow, I hope you're charging good money. I wish I was booked up till August. I don't know if I mean, when you're booking up a lot of work, it's whether or not people are. If you've got the timings right. I mean, most people that call me that want a job done, most of them are fairly good, and they're expecting to wait maybe 2 or 3 weeks. But if I get any other calls and say to people, I'm busy till August now, they generally go, oh, okay, and hang up, because they don't want to wait that long. But yeah, no, I've been busy, thankfully, up to this point. But I'm only ever kind of got stuff booked kind of a month ahead, tops, for me, which suits me. I mean, ideally, it would just kind of like you're doing some jobs, you've got something booked a little bit ahead, and it just keeps coming in. But you never really know. There's been times when it should have been really busy. It could be like the middle of summer, sometimes the middle of winter, and some years it's been like manic. And in the winter, I've worked up right up till Christmas Eve. And other times, as soon as it's gone into the winter, everything seems to have goes quiet. The same in the summer. I get really busy through the spring. I think, oh yeah, summer's coming, and like I had the previous year, I might have been flat out through the summer, and then summer kicks in, and then suddenly my phone stops ringing. I'm getting to the end of some of the jobs, and I think, oh, hang on a minute, the old phone hasn't gone for a while, or I haven't had any inquiries. But yeah. Diggity da. What's the longest time you've been without work? From not having work coming in, obviously the first lockdown, 3 months, but that's because you couldn't basically do any. Oh, hello, someone ringing in. Hey. Hello. Hello, mate. Who's that?
The old laptop.
Oh, you better turn the laptop down then, mate, because there's a delay.
Right. Can I ask you a question now?
Yeah, of course you can.
SBR, do you use it? How do you use it? With me lad, and he's been trying to do a bit of rendering, throwing this stuff. I'm not quite sure, and I don't think he is.
Yeah.
What we actually use it for.
Well, I don't. To be honest with you, mate, I hardly ever use the stuff. I use PVA for just about everything that I do. When people say, "Oh, use some SBR, or shall I use SBR instead of PVA, or whatever, or shall I use one of the gritted like blue grit, or whatever?" When I need something with grit in it, I stick sand in my kiln sand in my PVA. But that's only if I really think that I need to do it. I'm a kind of guy that I use neat PVA. I don't know how much of my stuff you've seen or any videos you've seen of me.
Yeah, I've been listening. Yeah, I've been listening a while. Quite a few weeks to you, Eric. Yeah,
nice one.
Enjoyed it all, by the way.
Cheers, mate. I appreciate it.
Yeah, really good.
And thanks for ringing in as well, mate. Because so many people just don't. It's great, like, to have the typing and stuff, but it's nice to get someone else's voice on the videos and stuff.
Well,
you know,
yeah,
so
you do pretty well, actually. Good hour and a half talking. Same questions. I bet you feel like choking some of us sometimes.
No, I mean, because the whole idea of it is, I mean, obviously I get a kind of regular gang of guys that tune in, which is lovely, because it's nice to have that kind of community feel to the whole thing. But at the same time, it's for people that sort of like, oh, what's this Ask the Plasterer thing, and they want to ring in and ask questions, and it don't matter if they ask me the same questions every week, like different people. That's basically what I'm here for, mate. Well, when I'm not at work plastering. But back on the SBR.
Lots of good information, great information, really.
Cheers, mate. Cheers. But no, going back to the SBR stuff. I use neat PVA more or less all the time. I will rub the stuff in, and I don't hit it with a set until my PVA's gone off. I don't do it when it's tacky, even.
Let it dry properly.
I let it dry properly. I mean, if I can get into a job, or if I can pre-PVA something the day before, if I'm on a big job, and I can go in and hit it with a set the next day, it's always turned out lovely for me. SBR, I've only used a couple of times when the customers bought the gear and they bought SBR instead of PVA. And I used the SBR, but for me personally, I didn't find anything fantastic about it, other than I think it's more expensive. Because I buy the cheapest 10 quid for a gallon B&Q PVA.
Whack it on neat.
And I whack it on neat. I mean, I might put a little bit of water in it if it's a little bit too thick, just so it's not, stodgy, silly thick. But I don't do this like water it down with 4 parts water and all, and put one coat on and let it dry, and then put another coat on. I kind of think, whack it up there good and thick, rub it in well, and then just let it just go off, and then hit it. And as I say, I've really had no problems with it at all. I mean, some guys go, "Oh, you shouldn't use it neat," or whatever. But everyone's got, if you do a certain thing a certain way and it works for you, mate, then yeah. Sorry, when it comes to the SBR, I can't give you any advice on it.
Would you use PVA in render, Eric?
In render?
Yeah. Would you put any in to use it as a plasticizer or something like that to make it, or would you just buy proper plasticizer to put in your render? Oh no, I'd buy proper plasticizer. The only times I've ever put PVA into render, or into like the actual mix, or into a plaster, and it's gone all it's started to make the mix go really stodgy. Yeah. And doesn't kind of do what I was expecting it to. So I'd never put any PVA into a mix that I was mixing up. I'd always get because plasticizers are quite cheap. They're only more expensive when it's a plasticizer retarder, if you want to slow down your sand and cement set, or if it's a waterproofer. But just plasticizer, I'm pretty sure you can get a gallon of that for just a few quid, mate. So really, then, just going back to render again. Yeah. If we basically use lime in the sand and cement, that's going to give us smoothness. Because I've heard you mention this smoothness. We're trying to get it creamy, aren't we? Yeah. Really just easier to use. So basically, the lime's going to do that, is it? The lime is going to make it nice and creamy. I mean, they did use lime as a plasticizer before they started making chemical plasticizers to put in as well. But I go the whole hog, and I put in, with my render mixes, I always put in lime and the plasticizer, and when it's getting nice and creamy. I mean, if you any of my videos where I am using render, you see quite how creamy the stuff is. And it goes, because the nicer you can mix that gear up, obviously the easier it is to spread on.
I mean, a lot of DIYers and people that are novice to plastering or rendering, they'll tend to knock up just some sand and cement. They might put a bit of, hopefully, put a bit of plasticizer in it, but it can be like trying to spread the beach. If it looks like the beach, you know, when it's in the bucket, trying to get it on the wall, when they go, oh, I don't know how you managed to get sand and cement so nice. But it's all about the mix, mate. But yeah, so lime is always good. You just got to be careful with the lime, not to splash the stuff in your bleeding eyes.
I think we'll forget the SBR stuff then from now on.
Yeah, how much, do you know how much, off the top of your head, how much a gallon of SBR is?
I'm sure he must have paid a good 15 quid or something.
Yeah, I mean that's not.
I know it's more than the plasticizer and all that.
Yeah, but yeah, no. But if it comes to, were you asking about it as using it as an admix or using it to put on a surface that you were going to plaster?
He's actually used it in it. He dropped it in because this is why I was asking, really, because I was confused. I'm looking at the instructions, and some guys sort of put it on first, like we use PVA, and you know, as a bonding, like a bonding agent to make it stick to it. And then some chuck it within, you know, in the sand and cement. I'm thinking, well, what's it really for? You know?
Yeah. Now. Yeah, I wouldn't put anything into a mix unless it was a plasticizer or a waterproofer or a retarder. I mean, you might be able to put our SBR in.
What about, say, he did a damp course on his walls.
Evening, John.
You know, he did a damp course, used sand and cement, and I think he put some into the mix for that, hoping it would act as a, you know, more of a water barrier, like a waterproofer in it. Do you reckon that's no good as well
then? Using what as a, putting what in there so to hopefully be a water barrier?
First of all,
the SBR.
He did his damp course,
Yeah.
So he used a sand and cement for like first coat as a render.
Yeah.
He put some of the SBR in it, hoping it would act as like a waterproofer as well, to stop the moisture still coming out of the brick.
So he didn't put any actual waterproofer into the mix.
Yeah, he did. He actually put some into the mix, you see, hoping that it would stop any dampness from the walls coming through, because we're waiting for it to dry, you see. It takes a long time, doesn't it, if you've got a damp wall and we want to decorate on top.
Yeah.
So he's kind of rushing it a bit, hoping it would stop the dampness coming through the wall, you see.
Yeah, no, the SBR won't stop any dampness. I mean, you want a waterproofer and plenty of it. And when you're doing, depending what you're going to put on top of that, because as soon as the thing with any kind of waterproofer you put into a scratch coat, like there don't seem to be a lot of call for pebble dashing anymore, but when you are pebble dashing something, that first coat with lots of waterproofer in, if you do the first coat scratch coat like the day before, when you put water on that the next day, it just runs off it. So if you put more sand and cement on top of that, you've got all day, basically it will stay nice and wet for chucking stones in. That causes a bit of an issue if you use a waterproofer in your first scratch coat, if you're going to do a rubbed up sand and cement with your second coat the next day, because you've got to put it all on, and you don't know how long it's going to take to go off, so you can rub it up. But 9 times out of 10, if you don't put waterproofer in the scratch coat and you're putting a rubbing up coat on the next day, it can go off really fast, and you can start getting issues when you're rubbing it up of how rough it looks when the sun shines on it. But I mean, a lot of these new renders that guys use now, all this silicon stuff, which I've never used up to this point. I've just always been a sand and cement guy. But all this new stuff you can get now seems to be a lot better, gives you a lot better finish, and I don't know how expensive or cheap it is. But I'm going to get some because someone's asked me to do a little bit of rendering for them, and I thought I might try one of these silicone renders that they use now.
Best left to the professionals, Eric.
Sorry, mate.
I say it's best left to the professionals. I think we'll leave that game then.
I think I'll just stick within indoor stuff, mate.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope that helps, mate.
Yeah, thanks for that then. Yeah, I reckon we'll leave it on the shelf then for now.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Thanks for calling in. Right. Brilliant.
Cheers,
love it. Cheers, mate. Take care. Bye, mate.
Bye.
There you go, guys. See how easy it is to ring in and have a chat with yours truly. That'll make the video a bit more interesting than just me waffling on. for God knows how long. How are we doing? Oh, is that only quarter past 8? It says. Yeah, if we can keep busy, I might go on till 8:30, but then might call it quits after that and go and have some dinner. Why not? Anyone else got any questions that's watching? Anything plastering related? Anything you like? Just throw them at me. Come on. I'll tell you what, I have used the retarder stuff that I got sent, the easy mix. I ran out of the one that you put in finish because a few walls I've done where it's just one wall left to do. I wanted to get them done quite quickly. Hello Norman, nice to see you, mate. I ran out of that and I've been using the retarder for bonding. Not the retarder, the half time for bonding, so it goes off quicker, so I can get the job done faster into some finish. And it has worked so far, but it might be a bit dodgy because I don't think you're not meant to use that one in finish apparently, but or in case it just doesn't work or works too fast. But it seems to work all right. But I'll probably definitely be buying some more ad mixes that speed the job up. But the only ad mix I've got left now that I got sent is all the retarder, because I'm too frightened to use it. As I say, because I only put on at the most a 2-bag mix anyway, so I don't need to put a retarder in it. I'll just be hanging about. But hey ho. Yeah, Norman, how you doing, mate? What have you been up to? Have you been keeping busy? How's that guy that you work with most of the time? How have your jobs been going? Any advice on salts coming through walls? No. It's a bit of a pain when it happens, but those salts are either coming from the brickwork, 9 times out of 10. Sometimes they are coming out from the actual plaster, but that's well, I found it quite rare, thankfully. But yeah, no, I don't know what you can do about it. It can be cleaned back off if people have if the job's been done and painted and then salt's coming through. All the people can do is clean it back and put another coat of paint over it and hope it doesn't come back again. There's only so much salts that will permeate and minerals and come out through the plaster. But yeah, got to be careful when you're sealing up a wall, hoping that might stop it, just in case it affects the paint that you put on afterwards. But there's probably stuff you can buy. Might be worth looking up, Norman, and see if you can buy some stuff that you could actually treat it with once you've cleaned it off. Hopefully stop any salt deposits coming back through. Did a job where it was bad, knocked back to brick, bond and skimmed, but it has left a lot of dark stains in the plaster. Yeah, no, I have had it in the past because and it was an internal wall and it looked like it had damp in it. The customer sort of said, "Oh, this it's been a week and this wall hasn't dried. This part of the wall in the centre or whatever hasn't dried out." And I think, well, it's an internal wall. It's upstairs, so it can't be damp. It can't be not dried. And yeah, sometimes it is just a darkening of the plaster. But that should be, if that happens, though, that's normally the paint normally covers that. It doesn't normally come back through. And some salts have come back. Have those salts come back after the wall's been painted, or has it just been you're on quite a big job, you're plastering, you look back on that room that's dried out, and salts come back through? Let me know. Yeah, the customer said it was damp. Damp meter today. No damp. No. Yeah. No, it won't be damp, mate. If it's not that dry. Hi, Brett. What ratio mix render on a brick external wall? Brett, are you talking about putting out on the inside inside a room with an external wall? The external wall. Sorry, man, it's getting confusing. We're not talking about doing a rendering job on a wall outside. We're talking about doing a rendering job on an inside wall that is, yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. It's an indoor job, but it's an exterior wall, and you want to know about the render on that. Just to confirm that's what you mean. Or it's outside. It's an outside wall. So we're outside in the garden, and we're doing a wall from the outside. That's what you want to know. You're brainwashed. What kind of name is that? Flexi trowel for last polish only, or use it for laying second coat down. Yeah, as I say, I literally use the flexible ones for troweling up. I don't even lay down with them. But not if they're, well, it's an ultra flex that I use most of the time. Right, okay, yep. Right, okay, Brett, hang on. What ratio mix on a brick external wall? I use. I mean, you're going to do this as a rubbed up render job. You want to do a 3-to-1 mix for your scratch coat. If you're just using ordinary sand and cement, depend if you're going to rub it up. I don't normally suggest you can put a bit of waterproofer in it, but I wouldn't normally suggest you went to town with waterproofer in the scratch coat, because when your top coat goes on, it will hang about. But if it's done early enough in the day and it's in the summer, it's better to put a waterproofer in your scratch coat. This is the day before you'd hit it with the top coat, so you've got plenty of time to get your gear on there, to roll it off all nice and flat, and then as it slowly starts to go off as the day goes by, you can rub it up with your float and or your sponge. If you don't put anything in the base coat, your scratch coat, when you put your top coat on, assuming this is the following day, and depending on how big the area is you've got to cover, rubbing up sand and cement is always given plasterers grief of some sort. The new plasters they use now, the silicone ones, that doesn't seem to be so much of an issue anymore because it's a different kind of system. But with sand and cement, I've seen some fantastic plasterers that are brilliant at sand and cement. Hit a big wall, float it up, and it's been painted, and the sun shines across it at an angle, and you can see swirls and marks that just don't look good, which can be really bad if your top coat goes off too quick when you're trying to rub it up. Blaine Gray, one of the videos, he didn't want to post, but he posted it because it was how not to render a wall, and that happened to him. His top coat, he don't know why it happened. His top coat was going off like a rocket, and even you can't kind of wet it and bring it back even. And when you're rubbing it up, it just looks awful. So yeah, 3-to-1 mix scratch coats with some waterproofer in it, if you want to do it that way. And your top coat on top of that, maybe a 4-to-1 or a 5-to-1 mix. I wouldn't go less than a 4-to-1 personally, but other spreads go like 5-to-1 on their second top coat mix for rubbing up or whatever. Hope that's helped, mate. If I haven't answered your question, I'm really sorry. Right, no worries, Brett. No worries. Thanks, mate, to me. Oh, what's that? You're brainwashed? Thanks, mate. Me to bit of argument today with a speed skimmer. Using flex is to lay coats flat. I agree. Final polish only. Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, definitely only use it for a final polish, or as I say, I'll use it with some water, but I won't lay on or flatten out the gear with any kind of flexible trowel, especially not an ultra flex kind of trowel, because it just gives you issues. It's got too much give in it. You get little dips, and trowel just goes into the dip. Whereas when you've got something a bit more solid when you're laying on, so you haven't got that movement in your trowel. That's why Marshalltowns have just been a fantastic trowel for donkeys, basically, at the end of the day. But right, well, we've got 20 people still online here at the minute, which is good. Hi guys, if any of you are got any questions, whether you don't matter if you're a novice, whether you're a DIYer, whether you're an actual tradesman, whether you're a customer looking for some info, ask away, type a message, or give me a call on the number on the screen and talk to me. I don't buy it. Yeah, any of you guys that subscribe to my channel, I just want to say another big thank you, because it's slowly getting up there. We're up to what we are, 1,281, I think, which is cool, because it's only a year ago when I got my first 100, and yeah, and that was fantastic. So I really appreciate it. Appreciate you subscribing. I appreciate you coming along to Ask the Plasterer. Those that have joined the server, the community server, so we can chat about plastering on there as well. Thanks, that's good. And yeah, it's nice. Summer's coming, lockdown's ending. Hopefully all's good in the world, or will be. Well, not in the world, not India, sadly, but in the UK at the minute, things seem to be getting back to normal, which I can't wait. Yeah, there's a lot of women I want to hug. Oh, sorry, missus. Only joking. Oh dear. Yeah. Did you see the photos? Oh, are they photos of the Norman? They're the ones you put up really recently or a little while ago on the Discord server. Let me know, or take a look. Simon Cheshire. When do you use blue grit over PVA? When do you use blue grit over? Oh, right, over PVA. Yeah, no, as I was saying to one of the guys earlier, I basically don't use any of the grits. If I feel I need some kind of blue grit style, I put kiln sand into my PVA. I always use PVA neat on my jobs. It's always done me proud for donkey's years. I don't go over it until it's dry. I don't go over it when it's tacky. If I feel something needs some extra grip, I will, as I say, I will put sand into PVA and use that rather than spend money on the different coloured grits and stuff. But some guys swear by them and love them, but yeah, just more money. If something works, I kind of think, oh, well, why splash out on using something else? So I'm more or less 100% PVA man. And say if I feel something needs it, I will put some sand in it to make it gritty, and does a brilliant job. Well, it dries like the blue grits dry, you know. Just leaves it all like sandpaper, which gives you a nice key for whatever's going on next. But there you go. That's my opinion on the old PVA and blue grit. Simon, I hope that helps, mate. Hope that helps. About 4 weeks ago, I probably have seen the photos, Norman, on there. I'll go back and check again. Was that? I thought the last photos you sent were the ones about the blistering that was going on. But I'll see. I'll have a look. Yeah, no worries, Simon. Cheers, mate. Thanks for thanks for asking the question. Thanks for tuning in to Ask the Plasterer with me, Eric the Plasterer. Oh dear. Yeah. Yeah, no worries, Simon. No worries at all, mate. Yeah, any questions you've got? As I say, we've got a Discord server, which is a community server. Ask the Plasterer. The description for the link to it is in the descriptions of all the videos. If you go on there, sign up as a member, you just literally just got to tick a little box on there. It's self-explanatory once you download the app, and you can talk to me and other guys on there any time of the day or night. You can post pictures. You can talk live on there as well if you wanted to. So yeah, get on there, Simon, and yeah, make the most of the use of it. Right, guys, how are we doing for time? We are at 8:30, and we'll probably call it a night in the next couple of minutes. A couple more minutes, I'll stay on. But yeah, as I say, these go up as a recording afterwards, and also as a podcast. So if you want to listen to this at work without any adverts on it or anything else that crop up when it goes up on YouTube, you can download it as a podcast. Ask the Plasterer is the name of the podcast. You can get it wherever you get your podcasts, but it is also on Spotify, and you can listen at work when you're working and get answers to questions on this particular one, or on the previous Ask the Plasterers that we've done. This is what, number 8 now. So yeah, so do that. Look up the podcasts so you can listen without having to be tuned into YouTube to be able to do it, and crack on with your work, and maybe learn a few bits and pieces. Who knows? Thanks, your brainwash. Appreciate it, mate. Appreciate it a lot. The next Ask the Plasterer is in a fortnight's time. So and again, I'll still start at 7. It's only if guys stop turning up that early because the sun's out and the days are getting so long that I might start doing it at 8 o'clock through the peak of the summer rather than 7. But we'll see. But for now, in 2 weeks' time, Monday night, 7 o'clock is the next Ask the Plasterer. Look forward to seeing you on that. Diggity dar, come on, mate, you can work this. The Discord server is easy. It's so easy to get on there. I've made the instructions once you get on it as clear as I possibly can. and the link to get onto it initially is in the description of the videos on my channel. Come on, mate, you can do it. You can do it. Right, guys, I'm going to sign off. Again, appreciate you all tuning in. I'll see you in a couple of weeks, or I'll see you on the Discord server for chats on there. Again, any questions you've got, you can email me at erictheplasterer@gmail.com. erictheplasterer@gmail.com. My website is the same name as my YouTube channel, which is plasterer.org.uk. And yeah, all the best, PH or MP. Sorry, nice to see you, mate. And yeah, I will see you all very soon, and hopefully in my next video. I've had some great ideas been sent to me, so yeah, I'm working on those at the minute. Right, all I've got to do now is find the I'm going button. How long have I been doing this? I still don't know where it is. Stop streaming. That'll be that one, won't it? Yeah, let's fade myself out. Hang on. Stay off with your those elbows lubed up. Yeah, will do, mate. Right. Jamie, have a good evening. Yeah, cheers, mate. No worries. You have a good evening. Enjoy the rest of the evening, and hope you're all working tomorrow, and that none of you work too hard, because life's too short to work too hard. Right, hang on. Right, fade to black. I think that's the one. Let's try it. Hey. All right, guys. I'll see you soon.